Hi everyone and welcome to the video. I wanted to share with you today a bit of a defense of Varcheg. This is a defense that I absolutely should not have won. I'm currently doing a Sturgia playthrough where the rules are infantry only. So I have no horses, no archers, nothing like that. So for castle defences my army's not really suited to that kind of endeavour. But I figured I could at least weaken their army some. So when they took Varcheg, whatever army came to take it back would at least be fighting against lesser numbers. Sort of sacrificing myself for the greater good. However, this is where I make my first mistake. While scrolling up and down to try and figure out a combination of both influence cost and army size and travel time, I do pick Roland, which is good, but Akiata's party is the wrong choice. I should have picked the top party at Rosieval's party. He's got 104 men and can get there quicker. That's just a minor mistake I made. The number starts counting down, which tells me that the siege is on. They don't have a lot of defenders, so I'm keeping my eye on how many they've got left. We're going to lose some to breaking in to help with the siege, so I desperately need that extra 100 troops coming. I've made a mistake and I've left it for 2 days. They're not going to survive for 2 days before the reinforcements come, so eventually I realise this myself and just decide to break in and help with the defence. Now, as you all know, because this is a fight that's already in progress, I'm not going to get to participate in the setting up of the troops and the placement of the troops. I'm just going to join a battle that's already in progress. As you can see, I'm on foot. As part of the playthrough challenge, I am on foot as well with my men, so I don't have a horse.
Make a shield wall!
Standard, first unit of infantry is a shield wall against the gates. Trying to spread them out as much as I can, just to stop that flow of people coming through the gates if the gates fall.
Forward!
Now, I personally am a massive fan of the ladder rush strategy, of just putting the ladders up and taking the walls straight away. They've got one tower, so I'm going to have to trust in that the catapults are going to be able to destroy that tower and the battering ram. But the one that's got the ladders on, I'm going to try and put a shield wall formation up there as well, again just to slow down the flow of troops coming into the castle.
Bowmen! Infantry! Move! Shields up! Soldiers! Forward!
Now with a nice long shield wall covering this wall, we shouldn't have too many issues keeping them at bay. The reason I'm not overly bothered about putting a large volume of infantry on the wall straight away is because we don't have many archers because of the nature of my army. And not only that, Sturgia is not exactly famous for its top-notch archers either, so I'm expecting to lose most of them. You can see in the distance the first tower went down quite easily. We got some fire pots left over. It wouldn't be a castle siege if there weren't numerous amounts of men that died to fire pots. Our focus right now though is getting rid of that battering ram. Fighting on the walls, especially with low numbers but elite troops, is definitely going to be easier than trying to fight a gate and wall scenario. There we go, that's the battering ram down. Now they're forced to charge all through that one little set of gates. I've been a little bit cheeky here. I know from eyeballing it that that pot is not going to reach far enough to hit the guys at the bottom of the ladder. But I'm going to try anyway, just for my own amusement. Weird thing is that normally if you have 150 engineering, you can switch all of your siege engines to fire and there's no real reason not to. But when I get upstairs here, you'll realise that the catapult is not firing fire pots, it's just firing normal stones. Which I have no idea why anybody would choose to do that. Now these stones only tend to hit 1 or 2 people at a time. If that was fire pots, I'd be cleaning up 15, 20 men each drop. So after a little while I just decided, you know what, it would be better for me. That was me trying to jump the wall to get to the bottom part. At this point I'm thinking it's better for me to get down there with my axe. I'm going to be able to do more damage. Now at this point, most of the time, once they get to the top of the ladder, if you land an axe hit on them, you can kill them. So this is what I spend the next 5-10 minutes doing, is just helping them keep the ladders clear. I'm glad to see this first wave coming through and going down. In most of the sieges they always send the most elite troops first, so all these Vultures and Banner Knights that are coming over and Sergeants that are coming over, this is brilliant, because if I can get them all killed now, even if I fall later in the battle, they'll only have recruits and T2, T3 troops to deal with. For context, all of my troops have Shield Breaker and Wood Chopper on their 2-handed axes, and my army consists of mostly Heroic Line Breakers and Spearmen, Sturgian Spearmen. If you look towards the top of the screen, you can kind of see there's a whole bunch of Vladian soldiers just in a corner at the top end of this wall, just stood there doing nothing. And I don't know why. They just bugged out. So you can see them there, just across the ramparts. There's probably 15 to 20 of them. A few of these Sturgians have gone over to see what they're doing. But they're just not moving, they're holding their position. Now, there isn't any ladders or anything up that side of the wall, so I have no idea how they've got up there. But they seem stuck. I'll tell you one thing that this infantry playthrough did teach me is that I really don't miss archers. I really don't. I miss cavalry. I miss being able to engage at speed and at range, but not from a shooting perspective. I always found that my archers, once the enemy closed in, most of them died, so I ended up issuing a retreat command and getting them off the field as soon as they'd sort of expended their ammunition. There's a few archer units such as the Feint Champions, which are really good in close combat, that you can sort of double up as shock troops, but for most of the factions, as soon as your archers have done their job and the enemy's closed into 50 to 100 metres, just get them off the field, because all they are after that is casualties. And especially if the enemy outnumbers you on cavalry and they're just going to overrun your infantry, you're just going to get to your archers and cut them all down anyway, so it's just a waste of troops. I'd rather trade 100 archers for an extra 100 heavy infantry. So that noise you just heard then, I don't know if you picked it up or not, but somebody's just opened the gate. So I found during this castle siege, every time I gave the order for my men to charge, which was not an order to open the gates and run out the front, it was an order to engage with the enemy on the walls. Now this is something I do all the time. Leave them in shield wall, and if at any point we're getting overwhelmed, order them to charge, and they just all get engaged and all try and seek them down. You can see by those numbers of Sturgians on the floor down there, there's lots of dead Sturgians in that pile, and that's because they've been running out the gates. Now, the guys I left in shield wall formation, in front of the gates, keep closing them after them, which is why the enemy's not rushing back in to come through the front. But I have no idea why the AI was doing this. Is the gate opening again? This is something else I didn't get about this point either. As it stands, we've killed probably 4 or 5 of their lords, or rather knocked out 4 or 5 of their lords. They're probably 70 to 75% down on their complete strength. We've only lost about 25%, maybe 30%, and yet their morale hasn't broken. They're still pushing up the walls. We can see there that reinforcements are coming in, and that looks like a lot of spearmen. Vladian spearmen. I say that because they're not sergeants, because their helmets are too round. They could be esquires or T2, T3 cavalry. But we're probably seeing the last of their elite and heavy infantry coming through now. And again, you've got a collection of probably 30 to 40 now. Vladians just up in that top corner chilling. At this point I had no idea where everybody was running to, so I just decided to follow suit. Because if your entire army just up and runs, the best thing to do is follow them, because I don't want to be left on the wall on my own.
Infantry! Move!
At this point I thought they'd managed to take the gates down, so I was getting ready to form a square formation, a couple of square formations, and create a kill box.
Infantry!
But that wasn't the case at all. And everything I do now for the next 3 or 4 minutes is done from complete confusion. There you go, somebody's opened the gates again. I've got no idea why they keep opening the gates and charging out. I've got not a clue.
Footmen! Archer! Bowmen! Soldiers!
But there's over 101
Forward!
Vladian infantry out there, and if they decided to come through that front door, there's not much I can do about it.
Forward! Footmen! Forward! Come on!
So here I've taken my guys down into the main courtyard. I can't control the militia and the garrison, they're doing whatever they want. I figured I'd lead my men up to the top and see if I could deal with that pocket of 30 to 40 Vladians that were in the corner. Look, I've never seen this before. It's absolutely mad.
Move! 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 Infantry! Infantry! Forward!
So at this point I'm thinking we've lost the wall, so I'm trying to put together a shield wall formation to stop them being able to just run straight over us. Well, they're not moving.
Footmen! Attack!
Here I'm just trying to get some cheeky kills from the side. Also break some shields. Now perk-wise, my men have got pretty much all of the infantry perks, so they're getting quite a lot of hit point boosting, they're getting quite a lot of damage boosting, shield strength boosting, and not to mention I do have my perk where once you pass 250 in a certain skill, all of your guys get +5 armor on every armor piece, which just makes your infantry incredibly tanky. Now again, I have not given a command for these guys to move away. We're trying to keep them in this fight, finish these guys up. But these guys seem insistent on wanting to do whatever the hell they want. So every time I issue the charge command, they run away.
Infantry forward!
This is me trying to bring them back. Now I'm trying to bait the Vladians into charging the shield wall, but they don't want to. And at this point I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do with this. If I give the charge order, they run away. And if I try and bait them into fighting each other, they won't fight. Now I'm thinking, do I just tell them to move right on top of them? I really... In the end, I decided just to give the charge order and then follow them and see where they went.
Infantry! Charge!
There you go, someone's opened the door again. And it's my men. My men are the ones that want to go outside and fight. At this point, with the gate closing behind me, I don't really have much choice. And I'm down. So what happens in the fast forward is basically they go back to the wall and they all stand on the wall and the Vladians keep trying to get up the wall and eventually their morale does break after they've lost a significant amount of troops. So now they've lost over 540 of the 700 they started with before their morale eventually broke. And the last 100 ran away. So that was a successful siege. I broke in, I defended, I lost pretty much all of my men as you can see. I'm down to 66 out of 148. Everyone's battered and bruised, pretty much everybody got knocked out. I'm lucky nobody died because death is turned on for everybody. I've lost most of my line breakers and spearmen. I'm not in a good way at all, but at least we kept the city. Now, the reason there wasn't anybody else nearby to help with the city is we had a war going on with the Khazate at the same time. So we were all at the other side of the map. I'd come back to refill my troops and seen that the town was under attack, and that's why I came in to help defend it, knowing that nobody else was coming.